Well, hello, Leeds fans. Hope you're all doing fantastically well. It is Connor here. We're back with another One Leeds video. Please make sure you're slapping a like on the video. Please make sure, obviously, everybody, you are checking out the merch as well. Back for One Leeds collab, 10% off your next order. But also, we're going to be doing a lot of giveaways. And there's 37% of you who aren't subscribed. You will not even be considered if you aren't subscribed to the One Leeds Fan Channel, so make sure you do so. Make sure you follow him back for on Instagram or Facebook as well. Well worth it, everybody. Honestly, for some Leeds bits, we're going to be doing stuff throughout the summer as well. Leeds bits throughout the summer. It's all relevant stuff as well. Lads working behind the scenes to get some really good stuff out. Patreon as well. Generation Leeds, Across the Pond. My analysis on Norwich is going to be coming up or is already out by the time this video's out. So hello, everybody. How are we doing? What we're going to be speaking about today? We're going to be speaking about Norwich's situation. We're going to be speaking about the Canaries. We're going to be speaking about Josh Sargent in particular, Ashley Barnes, and what they're going to be bringing to this game in particular. We're going to be speaking about, obviously, the ankle injury that Sargent's apparently got for this one. They're not 100% sure if he's going to be fit for the game, which is massively important. It's going to be big to have him out. I think Rodon did an unbelievable job on him. I have to say that. Barnes coming back is apparently unlikely, according to Norwich sources. But in a game like this, I don't want Barnes available, I'll be honest with you. I just think he's so experienced. He's so well-versed in games like this. And he's going to be a real piece of artillery in a game like this. You know, this is a guy who got promoted with Burnley several times. This is a guy who I believe has been promoted with Brighton as well. He's just well versed in these games, and he's probably going to cause Leeds a little bit of bother. And I think if Barnes was to do what we've seen with Ellis Sims, what we've seen with Joe Bellingham, and just to lean on Ampadu a little bit in that back two as a physical player, I'd be a little bit worried, everyone. I'm not going to lie. I think that is a little bit of an issue. But when we move on to Josh Sargent, it looks like it's going to be an ankle injury. What I will say is Joe Rodon did such a magnificent job on him, I thought, the other day. It was, but I thought Joe was poor build-up wise, really poor build-up wise, but on the contrary, I thought his defensive work was solid. And I think that's the natural conclusion and evaluation with Joe Rodon. Build-up, he's not great, and that's where we miss Pascal Strauch so much and Ethan in midfield. But the defensive side of things, he's very old school. And I think we saw a little bit of a revitalisation, a regeneration of Joe Rodon of old the other day against Norwich, which was great to see, and it'll give him great confidence as well that he was part of a back line that kept out Johnny Rowe, you know, Gabby Sara and Josh Sargent, you know, and Boya Signs. It's a real sort of, you know, testament to them, because I don't think Norwich have not scored at home in quite a while if you go look at their home record, so it's a real positive. Now, Norwich 19th in the form table, coming to Elland Road. Leeds' form at this moment in time isn't great at home, 1-4, and I guess the conversation right now is how do Leeds go about this? And I mentioned this on a video a couple of days ago in terms of how Leeds go about changing the side around, and we know what Daniel Farke will do. We feel like it's going to be something very, very similar, but a 4-3-3 for me does still work. However, I would change up that 4-3-3 to get certain individuals in there to get certain results. And for me, I've mentioned previously that I think Sam Byram needs to come out. And the reason behind that is because I think Leeds need to go forward in this game. Have a right back who's defensively solid, 100%. Experienced, and we were just speaking about Ashley Barnes. This player played in the same team as Ashley Barnes last season, but someone who's well versed in these sort of situations, is experienced, is going to be tenacious, hungry, and fight for the shirt, but also has that balance of being good going forward, but has that balance as well of being good in reverse going back, and that is Connor Roberts. I'd be putting Connor Roberts in all day. I think he's going to be good advancing down that wing. I think he offers a more varied option on that right hand side, and let me explain to you why. I feel like Sam Byram will offer an overlap, but I think the beauty of what Connor Roberts offers as well is an underlap. You know, you saw him multiple times in that Leicester game when he came on. He was offering an underlap, and he gets into the box a lot more than Sam Byram as well. So an underlap, an overlap, but also defensive assurance as well. And I like that. I like that option. I thought Byram did well the other day, but don't get me wrong, everybody. Don't get yourselves wrong. The wonderful tackle that Leeds United are highlighting, that was Sam Byram massively out of position, and Johnny Rowe picked a lovely ball out. He had to make that tackle because he was at fault. So don't get me wrong. Defensively, Sam has got that sort of nailed, but I think going forward he struggles a little bit, and he's got this constant thought in his head, oh, I can pass back, I can keep that safety on. And I've got multiple problems with this Leeds side in terms of multiple players who do this, but Sam Byram is one of those, and I think we need an attacking option at home, and I really trust Connor Robertson. I think he needs and deserves more game time. I've mentioned this previously, but I think the spearhead of that attack needs to be changed. Jorginho Rutter, I would actually leave out for this game, as some of you might be stunned by that, but I would leave him out for this game, and I would bring in that position Matteo Joseph. You are not going to lose anything at all with Matteo Joseph in that role. It won't happen. The reason behind that is because he's agile, as I mentioned before. He's quick off the back line as well. The centre backs in Gibson and Duffy would struggle with a quick, pacey player up top. They would, and we don't have that. Bamford's not quick and pacey. He'll hold the ball up, but he's not quick and pacey. Joel Perreault is a number 10 who doesn't have any of those attributes anyway. Jorginho Rutter, I think the big hallmark and the big problem for Rutter in this game in particular, in the first game, was that he was caught offside like 3 or 4 times, and especially for that goal, he just doesn't have the nuance, the understanding of a centre forward. So don't put a centre forward in there. Don't put a number 10, an inverted winger, in that number 9 role. I get it away from home because you want as many midfielders in there as possible to stodge out that midfield, make it more compact, and really restrict and disable Norwich from doing anything. We did that, great. But in this game at home, we do not want to be going to penalties. And I've spoken to Chris Reeve, Jack Reeve, a couple of the lads down at Norwich, and they firmly believe that Wagner is probably going to come and park the bus. He's done it multiple times this season. He's going to come park the bus, and what he's going to do is essentially probably look to go to penalties. That's what they believe he's going to do. They'll probably look at Ilan Meslier as this massive weakness who never saves penalties, and he's probably going to be weak and timid in these situations anyway, and they will have identified that as a problem. And I've been told that apparently they are practicing penalties quite a bit this week in training, which is a little bit of a, oh, wow, is this what they're coming to play for here? That's what I've been told this week. Now, you're not practicing penalties, as Gareth Southgate will tell you, if you're not looking forward to a penalty shootout or playing for a penalty shootout. They've got a lot of technical players in that team as well, good ball strikers, good players with very decent decision-making as well. They've scored a lot from set pieces when it just comes to the ball striking. Gabi Sara, Marcelino Nunes. So, listen, they're going to be well-versed and well-ready for that. If they're coming with that game plan, we need to attack. We have to attack, and we have to just go and trust ourselves that Leeds United can do this. But the big news today, everybody, is the updates on Josh Sargent is there's a likelihood he's going to be available for this, a high likelihood, but Barnes is a high likelihood he isn't going to be available. But I'm okay with Sargent being there because of what, the job that Joe Rodon did. And one to keep an eye on in terms of match fitness is Johnny Rowe. He was taken off as well in the first game after Firpo did a really good job on him, and that apparently was down to match fitness, so keep an eye on that one, everybody. It's been an absolute pleasure, everybody. Please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Head on over to the Patreon. Look at the merchandise as well. Well worth it, everybody. Thank you for your continued support. Make sure you're catching out all the post-Norwich chat as well and all the pre-Norwich chat. But guys, yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure, and I will see you on the other side.